left.
How's it been going?
It's been great. We've discovered parts of America that nobody's ever seen, I think. Really, it's like that.
We put up a British flag and everything. We're taking him home with us. We're establishing colonies here and everything.
Right.
A gig in the Everglades was lousy, though. It's a load of crocodiles.
Yeah. Pretty snappy audience, though.
I'm interested, actually, to find your reaction to the differences now between the English music scene and the music scene here in America.
They really are different.
Yeah.
Humongously different.
Define them.
Well, America's really huge, so things happen more slowly here. And the trends that happened very suddenly in England, that's to say, the punk revolution in England, happened overnight in England, and the punks just swept up the country. But in America, it's
Swept up the country?
America is so much bigger that city by city it's slowly spreading, and finally it's got to the point where the Knack are on top of the charts.
Right.
And the Knack aren't necessarily bona fide new wave. There's nothing really new about them. They're just another sterilized group, as far as my personal taste in music goes. But the fact that they're considered to be new wave and they're #1 in the charts means that America has come to the realization that the new wave, even if it isn't really all that new wave, something that's tagged new wave is on top of the charts, which means that it's commercially viable, which means that it's opened up the doors to America.
Right. To what extent has it opened up the doors, though? I mean, how much?
Well,
British
the
music
records
is
that
gonna
are
come
considered
through?
new wave can now be programmed by the radio stations. They're not afraid of the new wave anymore. In fact, they're getting into it. There's a station in Miami here, which I've been listening to. There's advertising a new punk club opening up, and it sounds just like they're advertising toothpaste or something. Yeah, you can get down and you can pogo yourself crazy down at the new wave club with, you know, Judy and the something or other.
So radio's still pretty sterile, this thing, isn't it?
Radio's awful. It's got worse over the past 6 months. 6 months you could listen to it. Excuse me. I'll be back in a minute, Mum. The radio is like so computerized and so standardized. It's worse than American television.
It really makes you appreciate good old anti-beep, where you get one thing which no one ever really considers, which is variety. The American audience, they tune into their rock station, and the rock stations play only rock. The soul stations play only soul.
Right.
And every kind of station plays one thing which its audience can count on. Therefore, when you stay tuned into a station, you don't get anything. And so, but the one thing you're tuned in for. So they talk about here, they piously talk about how much they hate disco. Well, none of them have ever heard Sister Sledge or Boney M or, you know, all these groups that they're slagging off. Some of them which are really good. But nobody really knows what they're talking about because they're all into one kind of music, and they're very narrow-minded in that respect.
Because the other thing that's very interesting in England right now is the fact that, like, ska, bluebeat music is forming the foundation again of a lot of, like, the two-tone bands, Selector and
Oh yeah, they
stuff
haven't
like
hit
that.
over here yet, but I'm
They
telling
haven't hit
everybody
over
that.
here. But I mean, you've got a strong sort of reggae feel in some of the music that you play.
Well, this is something that's happened time and time again. The Americans, because of what I was just describing, they don't know what they've got. All those white kids out there don't listen to the black stations and don't know that the only real good music that America produces is black music, and they're missing out on it until it gets to England, where BBC plays everything from the Sex Pistols to the soul groups and just everything. Every charwoman in England has heard the whole thing. The point is that I've forgotten what the point is.
The irony is that, you know, they've found reggae acceptable over here when it's being played by a white group again, which is the same as with the blues thing that happened in the 60s. And they haven't really looked to the source.
So now, both the albums have been basically fairly simple, haven't they, in terms of their production? I mean, are you going to continue with that?
Well,
more
we
basic?
have no.
We don't have to do anything.
We're not committed to any policy as such.
Our new album, Regatta, is actually more sophisticated, more complicated. There's more recording procedure involved, but it took us less time to record. We're just much better at it. We know each other musically, and so we can get our ideas across and work things out much faster because we've dispensed with a lot of the waffling around. So although we spent less time on the new album, we actually accomplished more on it.
And just at the moment now, Sting, in a few days' time, in fact, Quadrophenia has its premiere in New York. Now, you're also involved in another film project, weren't you, recently? David Bowie, too.
I did a movie called Radio On, which was directed by Chris Petty, who's a contributor to Melody Maker. It's a film that's very sort of arty, and that you have people sort of sitting in rooms together for half an hour without anything going on, but it's a very good movie. Atmospherically, it's brilliant. The music is by David Bowie and Kraftwerk, and I sing a song called 3 Steps to Heaven. It's a really good movie.
Is that the old Eddie Cochran song?
Yeah. The character I play is a garage mechanic who's obsessed with the idea of actually being Eddie Cochran. It's a very interesting movie. Not a commercial movie like Quadrophenia, but certainly it was well worth doing. I'm very proud of actually being involved in it.
When did you do that?
I did that last January at Chippenham, where Eddie Cochran was killed. This guy works in a garage just along the road where Eddie Cochran was actually, where his head came off in his car accident.
Do you enjoy filmmaking, Sting? I mean, are you going to do more in the future?
He didn't enjoy
Yes.
the part where his head comes off. No.
Yeah, he lost his head over that.
Yeah.
Well, it's great. I mean, it's the ultimate. Being a film star is a dream. I want to do more movies. I want to do one this year. The offers are coming in thick and fast, and it's hard to sort of sift through them for a good part.
Yeah, just tell me, because part of the tour itinerary now, as it spreads ahead of us, you're going to India.
Well, we're actually going to be playing in Japan in the second half of February, and that's going to be either the start or the end part of a sort of Far Eastern tour in which we're going to take in India, Greece, Istanbul,
Egypt.
Taiwan, Egypt.
The point is that
Hong Kong.
we can travel so cheaply that we can actually do these places. They're not major markets where we're going to shift lots of units or anything. We can just go in there and play the gig. We've got 3 of us and 3 road crew, including so that's 6 people on the road. And so we can afford to play these places, which can't generate lots of money, but they're fun to play. And we can also shoot a bit of our own movie there too.
Yeah, right.
Score a few rupees, you know.
Yeah, that's right. A few bales
Chip
of
off a bit of
rice and
Taj
stuff
Mahal.
like that. Yeah.
So you'll be over in England now. When does the tour start?
About the 12th of December, as far as we know.
Mhm.
You know, our plans we change a lot, but that's in the works at the moment. We
We're
hope
touring
we
the
can
social clubs in the northeast,
Yeah.
Sunderland
We'd like to
and
hit a few
Gateshead.
pubs.
One place I'm glad we're playing is the Hammersmith Palais.
All right.
That's a really neat venue. It
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
holds more people than the Odeon, which is something that's
Yeah.
interesting to find out because it's a much better place to see
More
a group.
atmosphere, yeah.
It's a
a much
shame that
better
nobody
place.
ever uses it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so rarely used, but it's a fantastic place to play. So we're
I
very
saw the
pleased about
specials there,
that.
and it's just a really good place to see a group.
Right. Well, best of luck with the tour
Thank you.
and with the new single too. And
Shucks,
thanks
Bob.
very much.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.